We might want to read through the minutes before we start that we're gonna sign from the last.
They're the same as they were, aren't they?
Yeah.
So you can burn the building after it's down, but you can't build it while it's burn it while it's standing. Is that-
Right, because they have to take some pollutants out before they burn. Plastics, spinals, shingles.
So would they do that, or if we have to get somebody else to do it?
We are going to be paying Dana and Cleet to remove all that before they shove it into. And they're just gonna burn it in the crawl space, so they're actually gonna.
Yeah, just topple it down in there. Is there a schedule for that? Yeah.
Yeah. The power was supposed to be cut Monday for the power pole because I still had the night light out there. So I think from here on out, just at some point in the next week or two.
Get to it.
Let's say, let me know when they're gonna be there. I'd like to see it go down.
I kind of like to do that too. If I'm available.
He's okay.
My wife,
He's not
still in bed.
answering.
Said,
Also there.
I'm gonna be leaving. I won't be back for a while. So she may sleep all the time I'm gone, but I think Lori's coming out.
You've got a lot on your.
Last night was
It was a full moon.
he ended up and called Lori and said, "Hey, you're gonna have to come out."
Yeah, it's hard to watch. I'm sure.
Come out. Couldn't get her taking medicine. She said, "I'm not gonna take them pills." I said, "Okay." The wastebasket. Anyway,
And what do the pills do? They help her sleep or?
helps take part of
Is that heavy?
her anxiety away.
Mm.
And I'd be saying, when I keep my telephone and everything at night, my checkbook over there, and I look over and nothing there. I said, "Where did you put the checkbook?" "I don't know. I didn't have it." Oh, my temper went this much higher than it should have. So I called Lori and I said, you're gonna have to come out." I said, "Yeah, I can't handle any more of this tonight."
Mm-hmm.
Came out, we hunted, and we hunted, and we hunted.
Mhm.
Finally, I said, looked at her and I said, "Come here." And we were to Shipshawana a couple weeks ago and bought some clothes. He was like, so we're going around. And, yeah. She said, "Come here." I, she had it stuck in her pocket and I had,
You have your phone too.
no, I had my phone.
Mm-hmm. She's going shopping again.
She decided that after she wasn't going to take her medicine and everything, that she was going someplace. And so it was daylight. I could see out. All of a sudden, I see her in the truck. She's doing this and adjusting this and doing all that and everything. But for some reason, the truck wouldn't start.
You had the keys.
Yeah.
I
So-
think you're going to have to find a hiding place for some things,
Yeah. Yeah. Already.
so you know where things are.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start. Hopefully Kenny makes it. We're gonna call the order. It's 9:02. You guys saw the prior minutes. I need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve them.
I will second that motion.
Open comments. We don't have anyone present for the meeting, so we'll go on to old business. Eric brought out roof samples the other night, and he measured, so he's going to be, his goal is to have the cemetery storage shed roof completed by the end of June. His goal. You never
He's
know
gonna
what's.
go up, isn't he?
It's going to be a black
I-
matte. He had like 4 different colors for me to
I'm gonna
choose.
say, white looked great out there.
Yeah, I said black, but then he's like, well, we have matte black, we have shiny black, we have brown, so we went with the matte black. So he's got that order. They're going to cut it and then get it up there. So then as far as the old township hall,
One question.
yeah, about the cemetery.
Refresh my memory.
Mhm.
He's gonna tear the shingles off, or he's gonna lay the metal right down on top of the old shingles.
Right on top. Yep.
I say, I couldn't see the object of paying labor to take them shingles off.
He's
Put metal on.
He's honoring the quote that he did last year, so there wasn't any change in the price. It was like $53.50 or whatever the metal. I'd have to look it up. The quote, the renovation versus the tear down. So I got the official in writing quote. This is happening. So they were REMC called and they were shutting the power off to the power pole, so there won't be any electricity anywhere near the building. That they're going to remove all the pollutants, which would be pipes and shingles, anything plastic, and then they will tear it down and it will be burned in the crawl space that it's on.
They have to tear that all the way down, or just part way?
I don't know what they're going to do. So Dana Bontrigger, I believe is his name, is the guy that he works with Middlebury Fire Department all the time doing these house demolitions and burns. So he's the one doing it, and I'm assuming it all is going to be down. I'm going to get a hold of Rome City Fire Chief. I know that he can't be involved in the burn, but I think he can be on standby to make sure everything's kosher. Which with Dana, I'm not worried at all. I mean, he does it all the time. So that is happening by the end of the month also. So we got the cemetery roof going on. We've got the old hall going on. And they did do fire training at the old hall. Jeff Bish gave him a little bit of a tongue lashing because there was debris in the yard. He couldn't mow, so we had to get them back over there and clean up, which they did like the next morning. I have not heard any more from, I'm moving on to SES and Frick's water issue. Groundwater. I have not heard from SES recently. Usually they ask to come in and do tests, get the lot access to come in and test the water. I haven't heard from them, and I think they come quarterly, so they should be getting a hold of me soon. And we're still in the middle of the transfer to the new financial institution of Intera, Campbell and Fetter. We're just kind of watching to make sure. We wanted to go through a whole month of no transactions, make sure we didn't forget anything. Then to the new business, which really the school bell is old business because we talked about it in the last meeting. We have not really moved on what we're going to do with that bell yet. We did look to see if it had any writing on it or if she had
She doesn't have the.
Well, it has like the top part on the bell. Like it has that top bar thing, but there's no writing.
Oh, there's no writing on it.
No, I went down and looked at it. And that, because that's what they lifted it by, was like the thing that it hangs from.
Right.
But it's smooth. There's no writing.
Huh,
Like the
that's
manufacturers
And there's
information.
nothing inside the bell. I mean, in the inside of the bell.
Did not look inside.
How big is it? Yeah, it's about like the one we have from the old school over at North Elkhart. We just haven't mounted, or it was like that when we moved there, but it's mounted on a cement base.
Where was yours from?
It was from the North Elkhart school.
I thought you said this one was from North
Well,
Elkhart.
maybe that's where it's from. I don't know where it's from, I guess. It was there when we bought the place.
Oh, that's cool.
I could take a picture of it and send it to you.
Yours might be older than that one then.
It might be. I have no idea.
That's
It
cool.
does have the name of the company on it,
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
because there are a few small schools around. Where that's neat.
Why you're gonna mount it back up on the ball?
On the building?
Oh,
We really haven't even talked about it. We got off on another tangent, and we'll get to that here in a second.
I
Uh,
drove by up there, and that looks nice up there. You got that cement clean.
oh yeah,
Somebody
Yeah.
did anyway. Got the bushes trimmed, and it
I didn't go
looked
there. I'll go back.
nice.
yeah. Tim just
Yeah.
did that like last week. I think he
I
said.
suppose then you're probably gonna put the bell in between the two bushes.
It'd probably be a good spot for it. I'd like to keep it all localized for sure, but yeah.
I don't know. We've seen some, it almost looks like a little wishing well, but just like a little,
Mm-hmm.
So it has a
with
roof.
like, it has like a
protected
little
bit.
platform, and then you put something up to hold the bell, just, you
That
know,
may be
like,
that may make it too big to put in between the two.
well, that would if we did something like that. But we also have a lot of pavers left from doing that, the memorial patio. And so we could use those pavers to kind of make the base. If we'd have somebody use those to make the base, then we would already have that material.
Yeah.
Something else that we talked about that would save a lot of cost
Mhm.
for us because we already have paid for those pavers in the past. We'd have the labor. But
We need a contractor to make it. That's
It would
always.
make a pretty good, that would be pretty strong because the bell's heavy.
yeah,
Use either 4x4s or probably 6x6s.
Something that would be pretty. I'll send you a picture.
Okay. Okay.
Might be in.
or if you know of somebody that would be able to do that kind of concrete or
I
welding,
have an idea. Who
maybe
did it.
some kind of metal. Yeah.
Top of my head, I'm not sure.
Keep
When
it
you
back
go
there.
home,
You
if
think
you
about it.
drive around the shed. It's at the back of the west end of the shed. Our bell is.
Okay.
So all future meetings are going to be recorded. Today's is not live. Today's only a recording, but they will also be live. So, starting with the next meeting, it will be live on all of our meetings. I have created a resolution for a Venmo account for accepting ACH payments for our rentals. And
Right.
this is
So that was a request of the auditor.
not the auditor. The State Board of Accounts are the ones that brought this up in the annual meeting that we were required to go to and said that the state is okay with this now. So, if you guys all sign this and you're okay with it, then it will be an option for people to pay us for rental versus leaving cash in the box out here, or, paying in cash. So,
So,
and
and you
just,
also pay by check.
yes. The resolution just says Elkhart Township, Noble County, Indiana Board approves the use of the payment platform Venmo to accept payments owed to Elkhart Township, Noble County, Indiana. This platform is to be used for accepting payments only. So with Venmo, most people can go both ways. You can send money to somebody or you can accept money. We will only be using it to accept. And that
Oh, yeah.
was,
Also use it for buggy plates.
oh yeah, we could use it for buggy plate.
So we did have a few that asked if we took electronic payment over the phone this year. So some of those young ones.
Accepting payments only and for no payments paid out from the township. We are required a monthly report of transactions completed in Venmo once we initiate and start using it, and it'll be on file in the office for review at any time. So if you're okay, if you can sign that.
I would move we approve this resolution
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
for accepting Venmo payments for Venmo for payments only,
I'll second.
receiving payments only.
Well, you'd have to first it, wouldn't you, Jerry, and then you second it?
No.
She made the motion.
So
So
Jerry
then he
has
had
the
first
second.
and then a second. Oh, you just need a
First is the motion.
Oh,
The second
okay.
is the second person.
Today's date, 6 what?
11.
11.
11 all day.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone has, or Julie's heard about it. But if you guys have heard about the Senate Bill 1 and the House Bill 1461, both are going to be affecting townships in our future. I am going down a week from Monday to the Indiana Township Association is putting on a day of informational day to help us all understand the repercussions of these two bills. I did print them out if you guys want.
That's the one, something about we've got to pay.
So I highlighted it here and the wording is a little bit vague. So that's why I'm going to this session. I want to see what the Indiana Township Association's interpretation is. I printed out their interpretations, but I don't know that I agree with what they're saying it says. So here are
Like that.
for both of those.
I looked at it earlier, but I don't remember what I looked at now.
I can read, this is the House bill. They threw on the end of this House bill, it says requires all townships to annually adopt a capital improvement plan. So capital improvement is infrastructure, is my understanding, for the township, which we've never been involved in. Which must include the balance of all unrestricted funds that exceed the township's budget. So we never exceed our budget,
We have money that isn't budgeted, right?
but we
Yeah,
do.
We have money in our account.
That's what they're talking about. They want to get that as quick as they can. That's what we have.
That's what we think too.
That's what we want to make sure it doesn't say. But if it does say, then we'll deal with that. But this balance of all unrestricted funds. So the interpretation of an unrestricted fund is also kind of out there. My understanding is it's anything in our budget. This is the House bill. One. Unrestricted funds, my understanding is it's anything that is in our budget that is not contracted. So that would be like office supplies. We have a line item for potentially having to clean up properties where we have to pay for it and then we have to ask for the money later. Those are all unrestricted funds. So, they're saying the township must transfer 30% of the amount of the balance of all unrestricted funds that exceed the township's budget for the following year to the township roads and infrastructure fund, which means we have to make a roads and infrastructure fund, which is separate from the capital improvement plan. So building this hall was a capital improvement plan. And so my understanding is every year we are going to have to at least review, if not create, a new capital improvements plan and have a goal for how our extra monies are going to be spent.
I understand that townships that are in close proximity to incorporated towns would probably have roads, but we don't have any roads except what we have in here.
Right. So I'm not sure how that's going to affect us when we don't have anything to do with the roads and infrastructure. Because it's saying in general, all townships are supposed to have a roads and infrastructure fund. So, well, I just figure we'll just transfer all our buggy plate money into that fund.
That's right. That's what I would do.
Same with that, the buggy plate money is supposed to be used for roads, but it seems like at Kenneville and Albion gets all that money, and now the roads over in this area are going to pot.
Yep. Then it goes on to say unrestricted funds are cash reserves that are not obligated, committed, encumbered, or restricted for specific purposes. So yes, our question is, are they talking about the funds in the specific annual budget that we're in, or are they talking about all of the funds that the township has?
If they're talking about anything that you don't already have committed, I think that's what they're talking about.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping not, but we're gonna find out in a week.
Like the monies that we had to spend, or else send it back to the state.
Right. That was their capital improvement plan.
If you don't have a plan, they're gonna take it. You just watch.
Yeah.
So
So
we need to make a plan.
we're gonna make some plans. So with that, forging through, and I forget the Senate bill, was that the one that happened January 1st, 2028? Something happened. January 1st, 2028. My understanding from what I read is that our lit money, the local income tax money that we get every month, will be going away.
How much does that amount to?
A month? $2,400 a month.
So
I think we just got the statement. Today.
We're looking at not being able to function. Well,
that's what they're hoping for.
Yeah.
And then they'll turn it over to the county, and the county won't be able to function either. How many cemeteries do you think there are in this county?
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
Just shy of 2,700
a month.
That's how much it was this time. So yeah.
So I need to understand that also. So where is that money going to go instead of to us? I just read that statement and I don't know are they going to replace it with something else?
So it looks like you can get a local income tax after January the 28 if you go to the county council and they would approve it, and it would be 0.2% for non-municipal civil taxing units, subject to county council approval. And this is not guaranteed.
Okay. So, and I don't know what percent we're at now, but I would guess it's more than 0.2%. No, I have a report somewhere that tells us percent.
Just a few years ago, they wanted to do away with the township deal and everything.
Well, we're going to do that.
And then, but the county said, well, they didn't want to have to write fire contact reports, and they didn't want to have to do that and do this and everything. Who's going to do all that if they do away with this?
Yes. So that's That's what we're gonna try and find out, how all that, I'm sure they've got a
Give me
plan.
a copy of those two things.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, the gal that
Do you want the copy of the summary?
No.
This is the how I should write House bill on the top of the summary.
Would, because I
gal,
looked at those ones.
what's her name? That's in charge of the meeting that you always go to in September.
Yeah. The conference.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She is super sharp. She is very, very good.
My understanding
She's the
from what
one
I
that-
read is that this is the compromise she was able to get. So they wanted to do even more than this, but this was the compromise that she was able to reach with them.
She had a
So
when Norma and I was going down there all the time. In that, she had a fella that was just as nice as she was, and I don't know what happened, but anyway, I think he got cancer, but he died.
oh yeah, the lawyer. He was the lawyer.
No,
Wasn't he?
no, he was the one that helped her.
Oh, I thought he
Who
was.
was,
Lawyer retired, yeah.
who was the one?
I'm crazy with names, so. But he was a super nice guy. I mean, he was as smart as she was, and the two together really worked. Yeah, when we always went down to the meeting down there, those two had really always went to the state, done all the things, and then brought them back.
You two also, this isn't on the agenda, but you two need to think about if you want to go to that conference this year. It's the third week in September. Monday and Tuesday, we come back Wednesday.
I would like to go, but I'm not sure. They're close to the auction.
They haven't come out with like they book rooms and all that stuff, and you get a hold of them. They haven't got a hold of them.
She's never been here. It's very interesting. We went and
I don't know if Nelson,
Norma.
I don't think he ever went.
I never seen him there.
He never went.
I know the last year that Norma and I went, it's been 2 years ago. There was probably only a dozen guys there.
Really?
Everybody else was women.
I feel like there's more. I mean, I think I'm seeing more men come into like new trustees, at least at that, required state board educational meeting we went to. There were some new trustees that were male. So
They always broke things down, and each day you went to them and listened to what they had to say. Of course, the thing that always brought up, and you don't fight with them like we used to in Perry Township, the fire department. That's I don't get into it. It's crazy the way the Ligonier Fire Department works with Elkhart Township. She's getting along better with them than any of the trustees that everything here. But when they call you up and say, "Well, we had our meeting and the council decided that you're going to pay this amount," that's crazy.
Yeah.
And you should be able to go in and say, "Okay, tell me why you have to have this."
right. Yeah.
Because now with this,
They're gonna be hurting. I don't know why they need such fancy buildings myself.
good question. Nobody else can figure it out either.
Yeah. Do you want to bring up? I think I saved. So the last thing on the agenda is what's been distracting us from not doing anything with the bell is we got a note from Walt Gosman because he is the one that reads the names on Veterans Day, Memorial Day.
Like at their church, they read it for Memorial Day.
Yeah. And he was like, here's a list of those that need to be added to the board. Because we're behind on it because we've been saying for a few years, we need to redo it. We need a new one. Like,
This is where to put some of your capital.
Well, that's what we were thinking.
Well, so we've been
over-
researching that, and we're
That's
getting
over at the cemetery.
Yeah.
It's just a wooden board, isn't it? Or
yeah. But
is there
what?
something we could do more fancy
Oh yeah.
to
So-
spend some of our money?
Oh
What?
yeah. Well, we could spend a lot of money on it, but
Well,
but
Some pictures.
$4,000.
I know, but
I remember when Russ, oh yeah, guy in Kendallville, they put that all together and everything, and we went out there and put it up.
So yes, we've been researching some. Did I put it in here?
Luckily, you know, in most of the cemeteries, think the things doesn't get done like it should because it's a cemetery deal more than it is.
One
Cemetery
thing-
Association should be the
yeah,
ones.
but they don't have a
There
cemetery
you go.
association here. Do they?
Okay, so if you guys,
Yeah, I don't
This is
think so. Yeah, not that I know of.
you want to just click through it, you should
Yeah.
have it, over here. It goes, yeah.
Yeah.
So here's some of the ideas that we've come up with for the Veteran Memorial. This is why I wish Kenny was here because he would love this.
But our idea is to do like a memorial like this, and then we would put a QR code on the back that would link to our website.
That would be nice.
And then
if
we-
all of them would be listed.
Then all of them would be
There's 6 there.
Yes.
Mhm.
So LaGrange Monument, we're talking to LaGrange Monument, we're talking to Lay Monument. And LaGrange Monument said that yes, that emblem's included on everything now.
Now, those are metal, right? Attached to the stone.
And he said as far as the QR code, he's never done it, but he could try to etch the QR code into the stone, or you could do like a ceramic plate that attaches on.
Or metal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Metal.
So would it be that same QR code right there or something different?
Different. Everyone's different.
Everyone's doing.
Yeah. That one goes to the contributors for the township. So there'll be a different one for the memorial,
Mhm.
a different page. So there'll be an extra tab on the website.
But then we could just continue to update that information and then always add
As you get it. Yeah.
always add somebody, and then we wouldn't have to worry about, are we getting the same print on the same plaque?
Yeah.
Is somebody going to stick it on their, or the right are they listed under the right war or the right, like they would all be, that would be so much easier to manipulate all the information around.
Well, and budget. I mean,
Well, yeah.
we got to worry about if we're going to have money to do it. And it's expensive to have people come out and engrave anymore.
Right. But if we got this and we had the money spent on it, then adding would never cost us anything forever. As long as unless we had to try to pay for the website someday, but
So, the one that I cut out. So this is kind of what one of the layouts that they're going to get quoted for is. So it's kind of a combination of a couple of the ideas. in the cutout part. The soldier is a cutout, so it's a see-through portion. But yeah, so we got some little bit of tweaking still to do to that, but so that's what we're thinking, and that will. I would love to have it done. I don't know how long it takes, but yeah. So that will be once we get the quote, then we'll come back, get approval for it, and then we'll have to ask for appropriation on that. But and that's all I have on the agenda.
I just have a question. I read all that all standard stuff
Mhm.
and watched the video thing.
Mhm.
Do we have a control standards thing?
We do. It is a generic standards thing that we just all signed. They came in the same packet with what you signed.
Yeah,
So the Indiana Township Association provides
that.
all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we just use that.
Well,
So we have it on
I
file.
copied this. Do we have a green book that they refer to there that's from the federal thing? Just one.
No, we just have a folder we keep in the file for the auditor, and
So we have that.
Yeah.
That's all I
Yeah.
cared about.
Yeah.
If we
and it has like a
compliance.
chart that says, Julie does that, and then I do this, and then she does that, and I do this, so that two people are looking at everything.
Now, does that have to include like our part-time help? Do we have
Anyone who's touching the financials, so it's just Julie and I. Yeah. Now, if there's a board member, which I think they do recommend having a board member that's familiar, because if we were out and got hit by a truck together, then, and I think that is another paper that's a designation, but I think Kenny is that person this year.
president of the board?
Yeah.
I'm president of the board.
Oh, secretary of the board. Yeah.
I just wondered, make sure that I knew if we were in compliance, and that's all I needed to know. So.
Yeah. A few years ago when I went to the mandatory meeting, they were talking about it. And so that's when I dove into all of it and got all the board members. I figured I only have to do it once because, you're not in the financials in any way. So, but Julie and I do it every year. Okay. Then I need a motion to convene the meeting.
I moved we adjourn.
Second. And there was something I was going to ask and forgot. Yep.
Had a lot of rentals of fall.
Good.
Great.
Yeah, Saturday and Sundays for
For
several
the
weekends.
graduation parties.
Mm-hmm.
There's been birthday parties.
Mm-hmm. Birthday parties, graduation parties.
How many can we legally have inside?
60, it's around 67.
Okay. So I was thinking about maybe having a family reunion down here.
Yeah. Because you can open it up on the patio, and
if you have a good day, it would be a great place to have it.
we had somebody that rented the whole park.
Oh, really? What does that cost?
We just charged them for like the pavilion.
Yeah, they
price
actually didn't
rental.
use the hall, did they? They just used the
No,
concession.
she did both.
Did she do both?
She did both. She had the concession stand and the hall
So 100,
rented.
right?
Yeah, so 100 for all.
It was 75 for
Yeah.
this, and then 25 for just the pavilion. Now, if she wanted the concession stand, then it would have been another $25. But
And she commented back to us. She emailed us and said they had a great time and everybody really enjoyed the park. And
Good.
I think hers was a birthday party, like her grandma's birthday party. Was hers the 100th birthday?
Oh my
I
God.
don't know.
Maybe.
I hope they
There
don't
were-
have one of those for me.
I don't know.
So there's been a lot of parties. I can't keep them all.
Just can't imagine another 15 years of this, what's going on all over the world.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay.